So we all know the bad guys. This book series, right? That came out probably like 2015 or 17, I don't know. But the last book had sadly came out. Well, this is like an 8-day early copy for me in the USA, so yeah. Because they're called books, not episodes, for me, where I live. So we're going to be getting to the theory that the book series is an infinite time loop. Uh, Spoilers for this book because it's not even out yet. But for you Australians, it's not spoilers. So at the end of the bad guys in One Last Thing, we see Mr. Wolf wave by to Snake, who isn't infected by Splargon anymore, the the weird centipede guy. Then we get Mr. Wolf and the One who teleport back to I don't know when, but I know what it is in the book. And then the One asks Mr. Wolf, "Why did you decide to go good?" He responds with, "What?" And the One responds with, "Well, if you imagine your life was a series, in book one, you decide to stop being bad. That means there must have been a moment where he said, 'I don't want to be a big bad wolf anymore.' There's a must have been a moment when you said, 'I don't want to be scary anymore. I don't want to be good.' How did that happen?" "Oh, that's easy. Tell me." "Well, I just called the good guys and told them they were gonna play it." "But do you remember why?" "Because look at that guy." "Rawr. Does he look like he wants to go good?" "No, not really. But if he doesn't go good, the multiverse is in a lot of trouble, isn't it?" You might think this is not really important, but Mr. Wolf talks to himself from the past when they were still bad guys. And also, they break the fourth wall about the movie and the book being a bestseller. So then Mr. Wolf from the present shows Mr. Wolf from the past everything that happens, from Splargon to infecting Snake to the whole battle in book 19. And then we see the page from book 1 which started it all. And then we see them ride their car. And that is the end. And we see this guy who I don't know how to pronounce his name, but that is it. The final book. But you might think, why does this have to do with an infinite time loop? And in the beginning of the first book, we see him explaining that he's a great guy, a nice guy, etc., and talks to his friends about it. And then we see Mr. Snake behind the door and the same exact page we see in the 20th book. Then he says, "Let's go do some good." And then we see the same image. The same image. I know I already said that, but still. And this is probably the part where Mr. Wolf and the One disappear trying to save the multiverse. And the same Mr. Wolf that was told to be good is when we read book 20 again, meaning that the same pattern continues every single time. Mr. Wolf after Mr. Wolf after Mr. Wolf after Mr. Wolf. Just remember the Amazing Digital Circus Day After Day After Day line. Just remove day and replace it with Mr. Wolf. That's how many times. I'm just trying to explain that this is a theory. I'm just saying that this is a theory and that's not officially true. But something tells me that the series is just an infinite time loop, and every single Mr. Wolf is the same Mr. Wolf we see from the end of book 20 to the beginning of book 1, etc., going on forever. But you might be thinking, "Max, he literally just says what he did. That's literally where the story starts." You're wrong. This Mr. Wolf could have been from the past. A Mr. Wolf could have told him to do good before, like back in the beginning of the very series. meaning that there's infinite Mr. Wolves in the entire timeline. With them keep going back in time, back in time, back in time, back in time forever until the heat death of the universe. But that concludes my theory for today. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe and peace out. Yeah, Aaron Blabey also put this message at the end of the book, which I think is pretty sweet. This is the end. Ugh! Feels nostalgic even after beginning the book series after 16. That's just when I started reading the series. 8 is pretty much sad.